most defining of American freedoms is guaranteed by the Bill of Rights, the right to speak your mind freely. Included in the amendment that is first among amendments, the right to free speech along with free press, freedom of religion and assembly, and the right to petition are such a part of the American character that it's difficult to imagine an America without these rights. But as history has taught us, rights are not to be taken for granted, but rather to be asserted, defended, and defined from generation to generation.
(1775). The American Revolutionary War began as the American colonies sought to detach from England in its oppressive monarchy. This resulted in the seminal event organized by the Continental Congress to establish the first constitution, known as the Articles of Confederation. The Articles of Confederation failed to manage the needs and provisions of the people, due to the fact that the federal government held no authority. This created a faction between the politicians, the Federalists and the Anti-Federalists. The Founding Fathers found the Constitution ineffective that they sought to establish a new Constitution. At the Great Convention, the Founding Fathers and many other politicians created the Constitution. The Anti-Federalists, however, wanted to change some rules of priority that were on the Articles of Confederation, but the Federalists wanted a whole new Constitution. In secrecy, our Founding Fathers discussed the issue at the Great Convention. Thus, the Constitution was formed. Upon this formation, they held one wish, the Bill of Rights. The Founding Fathers wanted powers distributed equally between the government and the people.
Now suppose that the Founding Fathers didn't stress this idea. Much of what makes America is because of the First Amendment. The famous book Uncle Tom's Cabin was the main cause of the Civil War. The book was about how they felt about slavery. Much of what makes America is because of the First Amendment. Reformers, such as civil rights leaders, women's suffrage leaders, set forward movements toward the First Amendment. Harriet Beecher Stowe's Uncle Tom's Cabin caused the beginning of the Civil War, as said by most historians. Martin Luther King's speeches brought a revolution influencing civil rights movements, leaders such as Abraham Lincoln, Cesar Chavez, and many other prominent speakers. Modern examples of freedom of speech are clubs, organizations, unions, church events, and even the internet. How would people take it for granted? The First Amendment is taken for granted by many American citizens.
Situation, the risks are when you use it for hate speech or when it might spill over into violence. I think that as long as they're peacefully expressed, right, as long as they are not abused, you know, these rights are vital. But I don't think it protects every act, right? It does not protect me being violent against other people or me, you know, speaking in certain ways that might threaten others.
And God didn't give us those rights. Our founders didn't recognize the rights from God and say, well, you get those rights and do whatever you want to do. No. No. There are laws. There are laws that we have to live by. We have responsibility when comes with those rights. And our founders laid it out when they said, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Look up the definition of happiness at the time of our founders. And here's what you'll find. To use liberty to pursue, according to the definition of happiness, the morally right thing.
Well, the First Amendment, it's freedom of speech,
freedom to assemble,
Freedom to petition the government.
religion,
freedom to express yourself, freedom to be an individual, just truly what freedom is.
or to have a better life and to follow the American dream.
Honestly, I can be whoever I want to be. I can express myself however I want. As you can see, I am different, and America allows me to be different and yet have a really good education. I mean, in other countries, they don't allow, you know, this kind of self-expression. They usually shout it down.
I've been to quite a few countries now. Asia, been all throughout Europe, through Asia, Canada, Mexico, Central America. What it means to be in America is kind of like a gift. Here in America, it's actually endless opportunity. You can just do whatever you want. It's ridiculous. That's why immigrants make up the largest portion of millionaires in America, and first-generation Americans, because they come from somewhere else and they see that, hey, this is actually a fair game. I can make millions here. I can become whatever I want.
How does the First Amendment affect us? It allows us to do movies, read books, and listen to music.
I'm here. I'm here.
I'm here.
We are all here because of the First Amendment.
First Amendment. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for redress of grievances.
But somewhere I read of the freedom of assembly. Somewhere I read of the freedom of speech. Somewhere I read of the freedom of press. Somewhere I read that the greatness of America is the right to protest far right.